Some of the greatest names in tennis have been inscribed over the years at the U.S. Open. 2 years ago, Pete Sampras became the youngest. Stefan Edberg broke through to his first Open title. But yesterday, Edberg struggled over 5 torturous hours to set up his title defense. While Pete Sampras showed his mettle, overcoming the world's #1 and stomach cramps that left him aching. Today, only one can reclaim this coveted prize. And here are the survivors, Sampras and Edberg. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tim Ryan here on the stadium court at the National Tennis Center, where we will witness today the men's championship match between the champions of the last 2 years, Stefan Edberg and the 1990 champion Pete Sampras from Bradenton, Florida. These are two classic serve and volleyers whose fluid and balletic styles exemplify this sport at its most beautiful and its best. Pete Sampras was the last to get in. He had to beat the top seed, his Davis Cup teammate Jim Courier, in 4 sets last night. He played well, but at the end, he was hurting. And after winning the match point, you'll see Courier ask what's wrong. Well, it was stomach cramps, and it bothered Sampras for the next 2.5 hours. He stayed in the tournament office before retiring for the night. However, he arrived today at about 1 o'clock and appeared to be fit and ready to play. For an update on his condition, let's go to our Andrea Joyce.
Tim, we were at Pete Sampras' practice a couple of hours ago. His coach, Tim Gullickson, told me that he was hitting the ball extremely well and feeling better as the day went on. Joining me now is the tournament physician, Dr. Brian Hainline. And, Doctor, you examined him this morning and again about an hour ago. Is there any change in his condition?
Well, he's getting stronger as the day goes on, and an hour ago he really looked quite good.
Realistically, how quickly can someone recuperate completely from something like this when it hits?
Well, Pete was fortunate because he had a very short-lived illness. He just had diarrhea for a couple of hours, and he ate well this morning and again at lunch, so I think he's really completely recovered.
What was the most important thing for him today to do?
Most important thing was to drink adequate amount of fluids and to just get some good carbohydrates in this morning.
You'll be keeping a watch on him today?
We'll be keeping a watch on him.
All right, thanks very much. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you, Andrea. Well, Stefan Edberg suffered no physical ailment, but he might be suffering from physical exhaustion. He has now played 3 5-set matches in this toughest tournament in tennis, the last of which 5.5 hours against Michael Chang yesterday, before finally surviving that one despite 18 double faults. Afterwards, he talked to the press about his playing condition.
I think anybody has to be proud of what I've done so far up till now, because I've been in a lot of trouble, but I've come out of it, and I've been strong when I really have had to be strong. So I feel very good about myself at the moment. I'm playing good tennis, and you know, I'm fighting for my life out there, but I'm coming through.
Well, the players are on the court just beginning their warm-up. The weather conditions are absolutely perfect here this afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Sampras coming off a stomach ailment. Edberg coming off hard battles to get here to defend his title. These are two of the most popular and gentlemanly players in the sport, and they are two of the most beautiful to watch. You will enjoy championship tennis.
The National Tennis Center. You might be able, as Tim Ryan said a moment ago, to reserve a court, but a seat you better have ahead of time. This place is packed. A beautiful day. The temperature is 70 degrees now, humidity 45%. Wind northeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. That shouldn't be much of a factor today. Clear and cool in the forecast, just like it's been. Just perfect. I'm Pat Summerall with our CBS tennis analyst Tony Trabert and Mary Carrillo. Tony, from the very beginning, you picked Pete Sampras. You still stick that way?
Well, I certainly do, Pat. He came in here with being the hottest player. He won 3 tournaments in a row, and that's why I picked him to win this event. It's sort of like he did in 1990 when he won the U.S. Open. He's had some tough matches, and we know he's had a little physical problem, but just about 45 minutes ago, I went into the locker room and talked to Pete. He was on the rubbing table. The first thing he said to me was, "You kidded me about my practice shorts yesterday, those baggy shorts," and we had a good laugh about that. I said, "Are you well?" He said, "I slept about 5 hours from 3 till 8. I've had some rice, I've had some pasta, lots of fluids, and I feel pretty good." He said, "It wasn't the best night I've ever had, but I'm ready." And I said, "You could probably go on fumes, couldn't you?" He said, "I think so."
Well, 5 hours is a pretty good night, I
Not
think.
too bad.
Mary, I know you picked Sampras as well. What about Edberg? You have to admire him.
Well, you really do. We know that Pete had a tough time last night, but what about Stefan Edberg? As Tim said, he's had 3 straight 5-setters down a break in the 5th set on each one. So it's really difficult to assess the impact that could have physically and mentally on this guy. All we know for sure is that his resistance to loss is absolutely metallic. And I think today, I mean, he's going to have to do a lot better serving than he should against Michael Chang. He had 18 double faults. He was only at 51%. He doesn't win on serve as his opponent, Pete Sampras, can do. Sampras can hit outright winners on serve, off the ground. Edberg can't do that. His big strength is his volley, but his serve is such a big part of his volleying game. So I think he's going to have to do that real well today.
Well, the two are just about finished loosening up. The road to the final for Edberg.
Well, against Krajicek, he was down 2-love and 3-1 and saved break points at 4-all in the 5th set. Against Ivan Lendl, he was down 4-3 in the 5th set. Against Michael Chang just yesterday, he was down 3-love in the 5th set. He was also down 4-2. So again, I mean, he's just done a great job.
And Sampras.
Well, he's had a reasonably tough road getting here. You don't expect it to be easy, Pat, when you play in the U.S. Open. 5th appearance here in the U.S. Open, as you can see. The 1990 champion, that's in the back of his head. That's how he got here. Todd Martin was a surprisingly tough match for him, and then Guy Forget in 5, and then the Courier match to dispatch him like that. Granted, Courier did not play very well for him, but he did a heck of a job to beat him in 4 sets and being a little bit under the weather himself at the end.
The chair umpire for today's men's final, Norm Christ from Scottsdale, Arizona. Another one that the players and fans alike respect very highly.
Sampras to serve.
Sampras to serve. Sampras won 2 years ago. Edberg, the defending champion. Beginning for Pete Sampras.
108 miles an hour. You get a look at the Sampras motion, fully extended. That's one of his favorites right there. He slides it down the tee in the ad court. He can also kick it out the other way.
30-15.
Tim Gullickson is Pete Sampras' coach, a steadying influence, a veteran played a lot of professional tennis himself and compliments Sampras very well.
Tony Pickard.
I talked to Tony in the locker room and also Stefan just after I talked to Sampras, kidding him. I said, you and I have been dead in one set. These guys have made 3 of those tough matches. He said, you're not kidding. And I said, what are you concerned about, Stefan? His serve? He said, no, the unforced errors. And I'll finish that story in just a second.
Brilliant shot.
Show you how sharp these guys are. First, we'll take a look at the forehand pass by Stefan. Good top spin. You see Sampras is well to the left of the center line looking for the down the line. Anyway, Pickard said, you know, he must have made 70 unforced errors. Well, I didn't say anything when I looked it up. He made 67.
That just missed. Long. Advantage Sampras. And he holds and wins the first game of the first set of this men's final. At the USTA's National Tennis Center, day 14. Men's final, Edberg and Sampras. Sampras won the first game. Edberg serving now at 15 love. Head to head, the series is tied at 2-2. Last meeting in Cincinnati, Sampras won, but they've never played in a Grand Slam event.
Sampras has straight-setted Stefan Edberg the last 2 years at that tournament in Cincinnati, which was played just a few weeks before this U.S. Open, and he just beat him from everywhere on the court. Nice serving start for Stefan Edberg. 100-mile-an-hour serve. Talk about big hitters.
He hit some way out.
Well, Edberg's serve isn't nearly as big as Sampras's, as we've been saying, but what's absolutely critical, we'll be able to tell how effective he's serving by where he takes his first volley.
One apiece with Edberg, as you pointed out in the beginning. Needed to serve better, a lot better.
Love.
In their semifinal matches, when Edberg got his first serve in, he won 63% of the points and only 45% on his second. Sampras was 63 on his first serve and 62 on his second. So maybe his second serve is a little more potent. He backs it up better. We'll have to see.
First serve.
Here's another look at that. Ball must have jumped just a little bit.
Sampras second ace. He leads in the first set of this championship. One.
Sampras leads 2-1.
Edberg serving.
15 love.
15 love. 1-2 in the first. The men's championship.
I've spoken with say this court is slow, not even medium.
Right.
And of course, you have good footing and a true bounce. So I would expect we're going to have some service breaks as we had yesterday, quite a few of them.
Tony, I think it also explains why some of these matches, so many of the matches have gone so long.
Sure.
Martina Navratilova said this court was almost 20 to 30% slower from last year. And a lot of the hard court events have slowed down their game in a year when everyone is saying that power tennis has taken over the men's game.
Not a lot of long points, no matter how slow.
No, you're not going to see many because Edberg's going to get to that net just as quickly as he can. And Sampras, though he doesn't come in behind every serve, is not reluctant to come forward either.
But it's much more vital for Edberg to get to the net. This tournament, he's been to the net 800 times, which is twice as many times as his opponent.
Edberg was at the net 254 times just against Chang. Yeah, granted it was a long match, but and Sampras, his match was shorter, and again he doesn't go in all the time. He was at the net 85 times. Give him a short one. They're going to take advantage of it if they can.
First set. Experience for Edberg.
He has, we saw before, he has not skipped a Grand Slam in 28 runs. I mean, this man, for him, the Grand Slams mean everything. There are so many top players who avoid going down to Australia at the beginning of the year because they're still on Christmas vacation or they skip the French. Not this guy.
Actually 38, Mary, 38 consecutive Grand Slam tournaments.
Yeah, 38. I mean, that's very impressive that Edberg wants so much to be a complete player.
And also he stayed healthy.
Well, his first priority this year, he said, was to win the French. It's the only slam he's missing. But he wasn't able to do it.
He has made no secret of the fact that he wants to be #1. Some of the players dodge that.
15 all.
This is what you can expect to see Edberg do a lot on the second serve. He starts back, comes forward. He likes it on that side on the backhand approach, gets into the net nicely. That one was missed by Sampras, so he didn't even have to volley. Picture book technique on the volley. Watch him pick off this next backhand volley. Angles it cross court. Racket well out in front. Firm wrist. The racket head is above the hand right here. Racket heads up. Good balance.
40, 15.
That's picture book as well. His third ace.
You know, it's one thing to hit the serve hard, but it's how you mix it up, how you place it, and when you do what. Good deception off the delivery helps.
Game, Sampras.
Game to Sampras. He leads 3-2.
styling of the Infinity Q45 has a beauty that increases as time passes. The interior offers a lasting pleasure, an enduring luxury, which is important because when it comes to a luxury car, as well as most other things in life, infatuation is easy. True love is what takes a little time.
A true champion, played very well, and I'm proud to present you on behalf of Infinity Luxury Automobiles.
Back at the U.S. Open of 1992, the last day, day 14, the championship, the men's championship. Monica Seles won yesterday to win the women's championship.
Behind the court.
2 years in a row. Stefan Edberg trying to make it 2 in a row. Stadium is packed.
See where Sampras has already had 4 aces. Edberg's service game is much different. It's designed to get him into the net. And this is a guy who has to put combinations together. And this is one of his very favorite combination platters. 2 volleys and it's over.
Well, now he has an ace.
He's going to want to try to break down the Sampras backhand side with his slice. Come to the net and put things away. But again, there's the battle right there. You'll see how well Sampras is receiving serve by where Edberg is taking his first volley. And he had to dive low for that one.
Haley Nastase, if there's a tennis match going on anywhere in the world, you'll find him there.
What a player to watch he was. Still is.
40-15.
That one's better. The very next point, he was much tighter to the net.
Here are the Edberg feet. He gets foot faulted once in a while. Watch the back foot come forward. And sometimes he ticks that line before he makes contact. You can be over the line as long as you're not touching the court when you hit the ball. Pretty good percentages there for both players. That'd be an understatement. Great percentages.
Yeah. Wasn't a bad serve either.
No, coming into the body.
40-30.
And that is the return you don't expect. Watch, this sort of comes into the body of Sampras. See, as he's sliding to his right and he inside outs the ball, comes around all across the back of the ball. If you can hit the return out there, you're going to win it almost every time because they expect you to pull it down the line. That's the normal shot from there. Wonderful tennis. The return of serve right at the feet of Edberg makes him half volley defensively. And then Sampras gets there in a hurry. You see Edberg waited but slid to his right at the last minute, thinking he was going cross court. All set up by the good return. Sampras.
Advantage, Sampras.
That is the weaker side for Stefan Edberg, both off the ground and the forehand volley. Stan Smith, one of our great champions, works with the youth for the United States Tennis Association, our young and up-and-coming pros.
return by Sampras. It's the break.
Here's Edberg on the way in.
Sampras leads 4-2.
He just barely gets to the service line and has to break off immediately to his right. Sampras early racket preparation. He has hit the ball so cleanly the last few days.
That's what Sampras said. The whole first week of the Open, he really had to pick his way through. He said he didn't really feel good until the Volkov match. He said then he started striking the ball cleanly.
Oh! 15 love.
He is looking very strong right now.
And you know, only Pete knows how he really feels physically, but if he doesn't feel 100%, it would behoove him to really grind this thing out as best he can.
That's wide. Edberg maybe doesn't think
30.
so. 30 love.
That's a violent argument for Stefan Edberg right there. That's as demonstrative as he'll get. Terrific watching people like this play. They just go about their business.
That's good.
Tony, Stefan says that the first couple of times he played the US Open, he stayed in Manhattan, but hated how violent it was, how rude it was, garbage all over the place. And that's how he is. You know, he's a buttoned-up guy on and off the court. He doesn't like rude people.
Well, I suspect he can afford an automobile, but he doesn't even own one. He lives in London, takes the subway, cabs.
He's staying out on Long Island for this event, just to get away from all that.
Game, Sampras. He leads 5-2.
We'll be back at the U.S. Open after this word from your local station. Second ace by Edberg.
Serving with new tennis balls that makes him go a little faster, more compact. Normally gives the edge to the server.
In the last couple of years, only 3 guys have been up in that #1 spot. As you can see, Edberg was there for a long time. Boris Becker snuck in there for 12 weeks. Jim Kerr's #1 right now, but Pete Sampras, if he wins this match, will wake up tomorrow #1 for the first time. If he can't beat Edberg, Stefan will be back on top.
Watch the smoothness there. Not a big preparation because Sampras is going to use the speed on the serve. Firm wrist, directed it well down the line. He's going to follow through with that racket in the direction you want the ball to go. Young lady should hazard duty pay sitting up there. Watch what happens. This bonks her, I think. Yep. She got her, hit her in the leg. If it hit her and went into the court, it's out of play.
It would be considered mixed doubles.
I want to give you a look at a comparison of these two players' serves. Their motions are a little different. We'll start with Stefan Edberg. He arches his back, sets the ball well into the court. He pulls his head down a little bit early, and that's where he gets himself in trouble. Sampras, a little smoother swing. He doesn't set the ball quite as far into the court, but he gets it well inside, fully extended, and as you can see, both of them get off that mark very quickly.
You know, another thing about those two service motions, when Edberg threw the ball, he threw it way out of our picture. Sampras just to the very top.
Right, much higher. And his wind is not a factor today, but it was gusty yesterday, and he had a terrible time on his serve.
Tough shot Sampras just hit. Way back.
Again, you would expect him to pull it down the line. That'd be your normal guess, but he goes out the other way with power and with the topspin to get it below the top of the net. Very tough to handle. If you were with us yesterday, you'll know that Cyclops was turned off almost immediately because it was not functioning properly. It is in use today.
(30-15).
Cyclops, of course, is the aid that the service linesmen have in calling the service line. It lays down a patch 14 inches behind that service line.
Edberg's turn.
He'd come into this serving game at 83% first serves in, not letting Edberg take a good look. But he's missed a couple of first serves in this one.
There's something overhead, airplane or helicopter or something bothering Sampras. He's looked up 2 or 3 times.
Might be hovering a little too close over, right immediately overhead.
Not bothering him too much.
Set point now for Sampras. Here's another look.
40-30.
Not deep enough, and being cross court like that, it opened up Edberg's court. Sampras really had several options.
That was close to let go.
Very close to let go. Particularly when he had a play on it, but it was struck with a lot of pace by Sampras, and Edberg elected to let it go. Again, set point for Sampras. Against Stefan Edberg, I think Sampras should come in on both first and second serves, because if he comes in, you say to your opponent, to Edberg, you're going to have to pass me. If you stay back, he can block it, chip it, whatever, and come running in, and then you have to make the good shot. Set point.
First set to Sampras on his 5th ace of this men's final match in 31 minutes. Back at the USTA's National Tennis Center, very few people outside. The food's good, but the tennis is better.
Not as much movement today either as usual, and aren't leaving so much, cycling around.
Enough to disturb Edberg a little bit, and Sampras. Now he says okay.
31 minutes it took Pete Sampras to win that first set.
The thing is, Edberg only lost 7 points on his serve. There's only one break point, and Pete took it.
Very efficient.
think, Tony, those were the kind of unforced errors maybe that Tony Pickard was talking about. Yeah, Edberg just can't afford to make those kind of errors.
He's not as comfortable going down the line on the forehand volley. He's more comfortable going cross court with that. He seems to get under a little bit better, a little more underspin for control. Backhand volley normally does beautifully.
Ooh, another close one he let go by.
Even Pete thought that was going to be good. Things are a little different than it was yesterday against Chang.
I don't think that's unexpected, do you?
No, not really. Styles are totally different.
That was good.
15-30.
This is the topspin effort on the return of serve. He goes under some. This time he chose to go over it very effectively. Early racket preparation, good upper body rotation, his shoulder turn. Good players turn the shoulders, get the racket ready at the same time.
Time to kiss the net again.
Yeah.
30.
Good job by Sampras to get there. He was so late he just couldn't even direct the ball.
He's come out seeing those serves so well, though. He's been putting so much pressure on the Edberg serve. Edberg has to work hard to make sure he is tough enough with his first volley.
Dave Edberg. He wins the first game of the second set. Sampras won the first set. First point of Sampras' serve, he wins. Edberg won the first game of the second set. It's 15 low.
Edberg's going to have a hard time just rising to Pete's level. Edberg's had 6 winners so far. Sampras 15.
Well, Tony, you've always been an advocate of that. He really took his time.
Yes, he did. He did overplay it. He had early racket preparation. This is what we call a sitter. He waited until Sampras made his commitment to cross court, and then he went down the line. He could have gone any place with that because he did have time. That one was wide. Watch how a big guy like Sampras, a little bit over 6 feet, how low he gets for the volley down by the feet, closes in, and that one was missed by Edberg.
First serve. Both these players very graceful.
They're not toting any extra fat either, I'll tell you that.
When Pete played Courier last night,
30.
I mean, such different styles. These two are both so liquid, Edberg and Sampras. Courier's a solid, you know. It was interesting to see that liquid beat up on solid like that. He thinks that shot was out, huh?
Sampras thought that was out right on the baseline. You're not going to pass Edberg from 2 yards behind the baseline with a slice backhand. Look how high this one is.
Quiet, please.
He might have thought it was out, but wisely kept playing.
Break point. Big serve right here. Second serve on break point.
First chance Edberg's had.
Yes.
0 for 1.
And then I think Sampras fooled him a little bit by kicking it to the forehand. When I talked to Edberg in the locker room, I said, how do you really feel after these tough matches? He said, all right. Couldn't get him to say I feel great because he doesn't feel great. You know, he certainly feels effects.
It's got to take its toll.
Sure. When he has a chance, Sampras is working on the forehand volley of Edberg. Watch where this first one lands, this volley. Short, nothing on it. And that made this one a little simpler.
Is out. 1-all.
Let's go down to Andrea Joyce.
I'm with Tim Gullikson, Pete Sampras' coach. Considering the problems he had last night with the cramps and everything, did you guys come with any special strategy today?
No, I mean, he's feeling fine now. He had a decent sleep. Everything's okay. I think they both started off a little slow, but they're both starting to play a lot better right now.
A little bit scary to watch him play this well, considering the way he looked last night at midnight.
Yeah, well, he's a great champion, and I'm sure he's going to come through.
He beat Stefan the only other time they met this year. What was the key for him then?
I think the big thing is the return of serve. If he can really neutralize Stefan's serve, I feel like he has a very good chance to win.
You guys would look for a short match, I would imagine.
I hope so.
Okay, thanks very much. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, Andrea. Edberg just served his first ace. Third ace, beg your pardon. First of this game, obviously.
I got to think that Stefan Edberg wants a short match too. There's one of his fans.
There are several of them with their faces painted.
After Edberg beat Chang in that remarkable match yesterday, somebody asked Chang, what did you guys say to each other at the net? What did you say to Stefan? And Chang said, I don't remember. He said, you lose a few brain cells after a match like that.
Those fans didn't exactly get good seats, did they? They're almost out of the yard.
That's right. Good breeze up there, though.
First time I saw that face painting was years ago when Mats Wilander and then Edberg were ping-ponging back the Australian Open Championship, and the Aussie fans really took to them, the Swedes, and started doing that. And now everywhere you go, everywhere Stefan Edberg goes, he's got some fans like that.
No wonder he doesn't have a car. Game to Edberg. 2-1 in the second. There's still room for enjoyment outside. Strawberries and, well, we're not at Wimbledon.
So those shadows are almost all the way across the court.
15 left.
6 aces for Sampras.
When Pete won this title 2 years ago, he had 100 aces for the championship. He had 13 aces in the final against Agassi. In fact, Agassi never had a break point in the first 2 sets of that 6-4, 6-3, 6-2 match. The guy upstairs who's giving the print up in the press box, the numbers after the match, call them sadistics. Just remarkable serving effort.
Love.
Looking over these football numbers last night, when Jim Courier was trying to answer every question very curtly in his post-match press conference, someone said to him, who do you think will win the final tomorrow? Who do you think will win tomorrow? Between these two, obviously, was the question. And he said, I think I'm picking the Giants over the Cowboys.
He was almost right.
Yeah. Pete, when he plays this way, you can just see every shot for him is possible. He is just as free and easy of talent as they come. And Edberg, who always puts such a premium on getting tight to the net, has no chance.
I don't think, excuse me, but I don't think Edberg's running around the court as well. I mean, he is a little slower than he would normally be.
15.
I'm not saying that he could have gotten to that one, but I just, in general, I think he seems a little stiff. And
now, why should he be tired?
I have no idea.
Well, he's certainly not bouncing around like he did against Chang.
Yeah, but his attitude before this match was, I only have one more to go.
Yeah, he said that's the way it is. I got to play.
4th day in a row he's been on this court. He had to finish the Lendl match. That was a 2-day affair. And then yesterday.
That was an absolute perfect defensive lob. Kept Sampras in the point. He wouldn't have had to play on anything else. He gets well underneath the ball and drives it real high, basically straight down the center, hits about a foot from the baseline.
See, this is the kind of stuff that Edberg can't do. He can't just break open a point from the baseline.
Look how short this is right here.
(30-15).
Edberg's forehand and backhand are just designed to get him into the net. He really feels like defending this thing.
Yeah, he does, obviously. A lot of tennis.
Yeah. Monica Seles needed just over 7 hours to play and win 7 matches for this title.
And $500,000.
And it was a foot fault.
The women's U.S. Open was open and shut for Seles, but the men's it's been open a long time.
Well, you got the top 4 seeds into the semifinals, which is what anyone would hope for. And any of those top 4 could win the whole thing. Points.
And they've played such long matches.
Yep.
Time for the U.S. Open to close.
That's gone.
Game Edberg. Game to Edberg.
3-2.
He leads 3-2 in the second set. Sampras won the first.
To help you stay in touch.
To summarize, Gigi Fernandez, Natalia Zvereva won the women's doubles champions. The championship that was earlier today, the first time in the U.S. Open era. Previous 2 singles champions meet in the final. That's these 2 playing now. And Monica Seles won her 2nd straight U.S. Open with approximately 450 grunts. Stadium court at the USTA's National Tennis Center. Pat Summerall with Mary Carrillo and Tony Trabert. Sampras won the first set 6-3, serving at 2-3 in the second.
Edberg's trying to get himself going, trying to be more nimble.
That's hard to accomplish.
It's his second double. And a little opening here for Edberg. Just 1 service break in the first set. Sampras broke for a 4-2 lead and made it stand up. First serve. The defending champions, Edberg. He was sitting all over this one. It sat up for him, and he pulled it cross court with good pace.
Quiet, please.
And it's love 40.
Tim Gullickson,
15-40.
Pete's coach, as we watch him defend, still 2 breaks down, says of Sampras' serve that it's a blessing and a curse. He knows he can dig himself out of holes with it. Sometimes he relies on that.
Yeah, he better get a few first serves if he's going to get himself out of a hole with it.
Shot he wanted, and he missed it.
He worked so beautifully to be at that place. Edberg.
Let's see if he takes a longer motion on this backhand volley. No, it was a good effort. Just caught the tape.
What kills him is he knows against a big server like Pete how expensive that kind of an error can be. It's gone from love 40 to 30-40.
His first serve of the game, I believe. Tim Gullickson sitting there helplessly watching. It's always so tough on the families and coaches because they can't get out there and help anymore.
3 break points got away from Edberg.
Good serve here. Solid forehand. And then this is very academic. That was very special. Unbelievable, this one. This was fabulous. He's lucky to get his racket on, you think.
Game, Sampras.
And he gets it cross court. Watch again now the stretch. And while he pops the hand, the wrist to get the racket head through, so he flipped that racket head ahead of the hand so he could get a cross court angle. Oh, that was beautiful. Except to Edberg.
It's 3-all. 3 break points Edberg had.
15 left.
An hour old men's final. 3-all second set. Sampras won the first.
What looks like is the big opening becomes the little opening. The player's instinct is to close that big gap. See, he's off balance here. Now he's got to rush all the way across. Would have been an ideal time to go in behind Edberg, and it's very easy to say that from up here. Down there, it happens so quickly.
40 love.
An 80-mile-an-hour kicker, as that one was, to the Sampras backhand is nothing for Pete when he's on. He's a big, tall guy. He's got plenty of upper body power. To dismiss something like that, I think Edberg's got to watch. He's obviously trying to keep in a very high percentage of first serves against Pete, but he's got to do a little bit more with the first ball. Again, this was an 87-mile-an-hour second serve. Pete can handle that stuff. He's doing a very good job of getting it in uncomfortable positions.
40 love now to 40-30.
Edberg's only been 41% on second serves. 85% on first, so this is killing him.
Game, Edberg. Good enough. Game to Edberg. 4-3. And he leads 4-3 in the second set. Sampras won the first. And the men's championship, U.S. Open 1992. Sampras won the first set 6-3. And will be serving at 3-4 in the second.
Quiet, please.
And the sun is low enough now that the court is in complete shade, so that helps both players.
Perfect day.
15 left.
At the USTA's National Tennis Center. Day 14. A men's champion to be crowned. Monica Seles won the women's championship yesterday.
Sampras's percentage way down in the second set compared to the first. He's the kind of guy, both his guys really go the way their serves go. Well, if Sampras wins this, it'll be the first time since 1938 that an American man has won every Grand Slam in the same year.
In 38, the guy did it all by himself.
That's right. Courier won the Australian and French, Agassi Wimbledon.
First serve.
That appeared to take a strange bounce, didn't come up at all. A couple of players intimated to me that there are some undulations on this center court.
Game Sampras. 4 games off. And the Blue Jays won as well. They are leading. It's not over. Edberg serving. That's his 4th ace, 4-all second set.
First serve.
I think they're seated in Sweden.
Yeah, almost.
They're applauding from home.
That was a fall that did not go over, bounced over after a hit on his side. When you get this far out of court, you better go for a winner, because you are not in a good position to do much else. That's exactly what Sampras does. Look how he goes way over to his left.
Inside out. We'll be back at the U.S. Open after this word from your local station.
Sports coverage of the United States Open Tennis Championships is sponsored by Infiniti, the official car of the U.S. Open and proud sponsor of the 1992 Men's Singles Championship. Reebok, who reminds you that life is short, play hard. Mass Mutual. At Mass Mutual, we help you keep your promises. And by Coco and Egoist from Chanel.
New York City should be proud of this day. The men's championship. The weather just perfect for it. Pete Sampras serving at 4-5 in the second set. He won the first set 6-3.
See, Pete wins a pretty good percentage even on his second serves, 60%, 78 when he gets his first serve in.
Edberg's 0 for 4 on break points. That's what's killing him. He's looking for that break. Brother and sister.
30 love.
Gus and Stella Sampras. And a couple of terrific backhands. Edberg's trying to work the backhand side here. And Sampras, even though he's way beyond the baseline, bang, just hammers it.
(30-15).
This one catches the top of the net. Terrific backhand. Sampras was right there. Well, he says he's sorry, and as nice a guy he is, I'm with you. He'll take it every time. It's almost a reflex for the players to do that because they really don't mean it.
40-15.
But there is something very nice that after 2 weeks of very difficult tennis, the conditions have been very hard. Day sessions going into night sessions. Both these guys have played so many tennis matches. The two of the sweetest guys in men's tennis are at the top of the toughest tournament around. I mean, they're the ones that lasted after all that.
Well, somewhere there's some toughness. Or they wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You're not ranked 2 and 3 in the world if you're not a tough competitor. Edberg, of course, has been #1.
Neither one of them seems like a New York kind of guy, but they both won this thing.
Yeah. Well, they've learned how to block out the distractions and the other problems. Sampras a point away from taking this to 5-all in the second set.
Deuce, double fault. 3 for Sampras.
When he's not going to the net, his toss on his second serve is not very much into the court. He wants to make sure he gets a good topspin on a good jump kick on it. When he's going to the net behind his second serve, he sets it well into the court, which is the way to do it so you can get a better start forward. Set point for Edberg.
He's 0 for 4 so far. Those Swedish guys, there's a band of them that travel all over the world to watch this man play. They stay in youth hostels.
They don't work?
On the cheap. They just scrounge around and try to support him. They sell T-shirts, Stefan Edberg T-shirts.
Paint.
Game and second set, Edberg.
Second set to Edberg.
6-4. Please remain in your seats until after the next game.
This is what Edberg wanted. Get into the net. He didn't hit a real deep approach, but he read the forehand of Sampras very well. Watch him. He waits and goes to his left. That was beautifully done. Mechanically very, very sound, which he normally is on the backhand.